Good morning, Hancock County community. I want to provide you a quick update on this Friday, September the 18th. Yesterday evening, the Hancock County Board of Education met and they approved a transition plan for in-person learning that would begin and be implemented on September the 28th, Monday, September the 28th. This plan is in the middle of our website. It is structured around the community metrics that the governor approved on Monday of this week. It has a color system: green, yellow, orange, and red. It's aligned with our Department of Public Health, our state Department of Public Health. The plan that was approved as a phase-in plan. The board has expressed their desire to review the plan here in the next few weeks, but it does mean that we will be starting on September the 28th with two instructional options: a virtual learning option and then an instructional model that basically divides our student population in half between an A group and a B group. The A group and the B group are divided geographically within our county, basically east-west. Those letters will be going out this morning to the households, to every student, so you'll know which of those groups you are in. We will be starting again in that A-B model, which is the yellow-orange that's on the governor's and the Department of Public Health's plan. It's also further expanded upon in the plan that's on our website, the transition plan, the student success transition plan. Starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, you will be contacted by someone at the school. They'll be asking you two questions. Are you planning to stay virtually, or are you planning to return to in-person learning on September the 28th? That's important that we get that information so that we can make the appropriate accommodations from transportation and other services that would be available. Now, with transportation, we had, if you remember way back in July, we talked about there's going to have to be further restrictions. We're going to try to keep the numbers down on buses. We're going to load front to back. There'll be assigned seats. There'll be seating charts. We have to be able to contact trace and know where every student is located at basically all times of the day, including on the bus. A mask will have to be worn on the bus. And we can't have a lot of transportation changes. Obviously, if we're dividing the county in half, we're going to be traveling part of the county on that particular day, so we may not even be able to get you at babysitter's house that is in the other part of the county because we're going by, as we divided up those student populations by the primary residence. So there will be some frustrations there with that, and I apologize in advance, but we won't be able to be as flexible as we have been in the past. As you dive into the student success transition plan, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of health and safety protocols that have to be in place that align with Department of Public Health, Kentucky Department of Education, the things that we have to do. And one of those is checking your child's temperature before you send them to school. If we're going to be checking them as they're dropped off in car line, we're going to be checking them the temperatures as they get off the bus. If they have a temperature and they're in car rider line, we're going to ask that you take them and any of the other students that may be delivered to the same car back home because of that potential exposure. And there's some different procedures that would need to be followed in the plan of how that needs to respond and what a quarantine looks like, or what the next steps would be from a test and those things specifically. You are required, and this is actually a regulation, it's a state regulation, it's not our regulation, it's a state regulation. You're required to notify the school if there is a positive COVID case in your household with your children, with your child. One of the other changes, masks are required at all times for kindergarten through 12th grade. So all students will be wearing a mask. That's a change from what we originally had planned for. And the latest guidance says we have to social distance to the best of our ability, but even if you get to that 6 feet, you could take the mask down. Now you have to keep the mask on. If you're within for a span of 15 minutes or longer the space of someone that were to test positive, even with a mask, the health department has instructed us that that individual, that student, that staff member would have to quarantine. So those are some important things that you need to know. There's a lot more in here. We cover everything from how we're sanitizing and cleaning the buildings. Water fountains, we've disabled those. We're asking that you would supply your child with a water bottle. So there is a lot in this student success transition plan that we're going to start on September the 28th. Will be reevaluated in the coming weeks, potentially for a 5-day-a-week in-person learning environment for those that choose it. So we'd still have the virtual option, but that's to be decided by the board at a later date in the coming weeks. So this is what we're starting with, September the 28th. I encourage you to look at that. It's in the center of our district website. You can go through that document. It's 28 pages long with the decision tree for health in the back. And if you have questions, like I said, there's going to be information forthcoming from each individual school that's school specific. But if you have questions, direct those to your school. Obviously, you can contact us here at the board office, and hope that each of you have a great Friday.